Over the last 9 years, I've had hundreds of conversations with business owners just like you, and I've come to realise we all go through this one inevitable problem that's a real pain in the arse. Some of us may go through it really early on, within a few months of starting our business. For some of us, it may take years, but we all experience it. In this video, I'm going to go through exactly what that problem is and a cool, simple solution that I found that worked really well for me. And I didn't think anything of it, but it was only when I started sharing this idea, this solution to the problem with other business owners that people thought, oh my God, that's actually a really effective and easy way to overcome it. Now, I'm not saying that this is the perfect solution. What it is just something that I found was really effective for me. And over the years, I've just tweaked it and improved it to make it more effective. And even when I recorded this video, I changed a couple of things to make it a bit better. Now, the problem starts as soon as we get too busy for our business. We start off and we're doing every single job, but then very quickly we become too busy because we're doing absolutely everything. And that's where the problem manifests in different ways. We started our businesses to feel free and be in complete control of our own schedule. But unfortunately, we become overwhelmed with whatever this is, and we get stuck doing things that we don't love and don't want to do. And at this moment, we think, I need to grow a team. I want to become a proper company, but how do I delegate? Who do I hire? When do I hire? Do I get employees, part-time employees? Do I get freelancers, self-employed people? And that was the exact solution I found. A really cool trick on how to know who to hire, when to hire them, and what you're going to get them to do. We'll go through this process properly, and I'll show you the simple chart that I use that solves this problem.
So what I did in my first business is I drew out and listed every single task that is done within the business. Now, when I first started it, I was the only person, so I was doing every single task, and it was a simple spreadsheet. So it looked like this, just a case of what is the actual task itself, what is my preference for that task, do I like it or not, and my skill set, am I good at it, am I not? And one thing I might add is a category. So this is just looking at, can you cluster tasks together? Because what you end up having is a long list. Now, in my first company, this was hundreds of tasks that went from, it was a garden maintenance company, and that could go from who's cutting the grass, who's trimming the lawns, who's weeding the beds, who's sending the quotes out, who's sending the invoices, who's changing the toilet roll at the yard in the toilet. Every single task needed a name assigned to it. So what I did when I started looking to delegate, and this came in so helpful for my next business because there wasn't a clear pattern of, well, these tasks are this job and those tasks are that job. In my garden company, I needed gardeners out on the tools and then office people in the office. Whereas in my next company, it wasn't as clear as that. So what I started looking at, and this is what I advise to many business owners, and you can apply it yourself, list every single task and look at, can you categorize them? So maybe all of these come into category A. That might be marketing tasks, it might be sales, it might be finance. And then the next cluster might come into another category that's something else. And as you write them all out, is you then traffic light score them. So you look at red for preference is you hate doing it, whereas obviously green, you love doing it. And on your skills, red, you're pretty crap at it. Green, you're really good at it. So then you just start, obviously on a spreadsheet, this is much quicker, but you just start looking at what would you give yourself in terms of a score and what are you good at, what are you bad at? Yes, it will come to no surprise to you, I have 1/3 of an art degree. So your spreadsheet will look something like this. You've got a whole bunch of tasks that you've written out. You're not gonna put 1, 2, 3, you're gonna actually write what is the task. So whatever it is, you write a description of the task. And then you look and you can see on your preference, you've got things that you hate doing, they're red, you don't mind doing it, or you love doing it, and they're green. And then you've got on your skill set, things that you're really bad at, they're red, things that you're really good at, they're green, and if it's in between, it's yellow. So where do you start, and what has this got to do with delegating? This is where, first things first, look at things that you really don't like doing and you're not that good at. So you're looking at things that are red in both columns. That tells you, find someone to do that task. And what you may find is you start to develop categories that are particularly red. That's what you want to look out for. And while it may seem like a bad thing, that's really good because it means you've got something to delegate straight away. So what you may actually have is a section of tasks that you can categorize into something. So this might be bookkeeping, all the things associated with keeping the books, sending the invoices, sending the quotes, checking receipts, blah, blah, blah. You might find that when you list them all out, they're all in that category and they're all red and yellow. You don't actually like doing them, you're not that good at it. So there you go, you need a bookkeeper, sorted. And this is what I use to measure how to delegate. And it's something that for me to run a company and to have an organization that runs itself and grows itself, every single task would need to be removed by me. So then what I later did is then I put who's responsible. So then In this column, it was just writing down a name. As I started to have multiple team members, it would be who is responsible for each thing. So then I knew what I was working on, and I made a few notes there. If I didn't have a name, I might add some notes of like, oh, I'm looking to find a bookkeeper, I'm looking to find this person, I'm going to employ this person, I'm going to start with a freelancer. And I started to color code them as just amber was, I had a plan, and green, it was successfully delegated. So then as time went on, what I was looking for is this entire column just to become green, because then that would mean that I've got a company that runs itself and grows itself. And if you implement this, let me know. I'd love to hear how you get on with it in the comments below. If you've got any questions around it, I think there's a better way to improve it, so let us know.